Now, look, I've got another confession to make. I'm your fool. Everyone's got their chains to break, holding you, but I'm gonna be honest, I actually didn't lay my eyes for 1 second's worth of time on the Montreal Canadiens Philadelphia Flyers overtime loss that literally just concluded. Instead, I've been working on my marketing campaign for a few assignments for school. Yeah, it's almost December. Finals week is almost upon us. All my final assignments are coming up to their due dates, and I really didn't start a few of them, so I'm just jamming away and cramming away at all of this stuff. But that's why I didn't watch the Canadiens game. I was working on homework, but I came across this little, let's just say, piece of news. I don't really want to call it news, I just want to call it a little bit of a talk. If you wanted to hear my opinions about the Canadiens and the Flyers, that's not going to be this video. I have no opinions on that because I didn't watch the game. You can discuss amongst yourselves in the comments and tell me what exactly went down, because all I can see from this Habs-Flyers game is that the Habs lost. The Montreal Gazette was talking about what we're talking about in this video right here. Let's talk about trading Carey Price. And yeah, that's a crazy title, it's a crazy topic, but Pat Hickey on the Montreal Gazette talks about the Canadiens and their problems, and he talks about the overall way the team has been progressing over the past 6 games. And as a result, he responds directly to the fan base and the overall growing support train, I guess, for the trade Carey Price idea. And this video is titled, No, the Habs are not going to do it, they're not going to be able to do it, and Pat Hickey talks about why they actually wouldn't be able to do it here. Let's talk a little bit about the Montreal Canadiens first. Let's talk about why exactly fans are talking about this, and in fact, I made a video asking what's going on with the Habs, where I specifically called out Carey Price and his poor November performance. Back then when I made that video, Carey Price was sitting at an .886 save percentage for the month of November. And that was really not good. The games that they were playing, Price was letting in goals that a $10 million goalie probably shouldn't be letting up. And sure, you could say a lot of things about the Canadiens' defense and how they could have hung him out to dry on a few of those chances, but at the same time, when you're the best goalie in the league, quote-unquote, you're expected to make those saves that normal goalies wouldn't be able to make, at consistent times that normal goalies wouldn't be able to do. Carey Price hasn't necessarily been in that same realm in the past month, and the way the Habs have been struggling ever since Drouin got out of the lineup, things have been really calling for pandemonium amongst the fan base, and now there's a growing narrative online where people are saying it's time to trade Price. And I want just everybody watching this video, I want you to take a look at that and kind of ask yourself, is that really even possible? Because I don't think it is. I really don't think it is. Carey Price is the most expensive goalie in the league. Only one other goalie makes $10 million, and that's Bobrovsky. And Bobrovsky was a free agent who recently signed a contract, and he is at 10. Carey Price is at 10.5, and Carey Price is 32 years old, and he's going to be making that $10.5 million until he's 38. His contract expires in 2026. There is no way you're going to be able to move a deal like that. And the fact that you have a no-move clause in place too even further solidifies Carey Price's security with the Canadiens. If I were a betting man, I would say that the only realistic possibility where you have a scenario where Carey Price isn't a Canadian by the end of the 2025-2026 season is either you trade him at the trade deadline in 2026, which, okay, that's literally 7 years from now. We're not going to talk about that. It's if you buy him out. And that is not an option that I can see the Montreal Canadiens doing in the short-term future. Because whether you like it or not, Carey Price is still a goaltender who is capable of playing the NHL game, and he's going to be doing that for a long time. We've seen the ups and downs with Price. We've seen Last year, the same thing happened with Carey Price. I talked about this in my What's Going On with Montreal video, but Carey Price last year, in 2018's November, had an .886 save percentage before rebounding back in December and becoming a beast in January. We've seen this before with Price, where he does terribly in November and then he becomes better. And if I was a betting man, I would probably say it's more likely than not that Carey Price becomes Carey Price a little bit towards the middle of the year. I think the overreaction and the whole incentive to trade Price from the fan base comes from the fact that this Canadiens team is just not doing all too hot. They're losing the games that they shouldn't be losing, and they're giving up precious goals to the teams that the Canadiens really shouldn't be giving up goals to. Cough Boston. But I think if you take a look at everything, this whole cocktail of Canadiens suffering and Canadiens fans watching this team crumble away wins like they have been over the past few weeks, it's the ultimate causation for panic and distress and quote-unquote impulse comments where people are like, okay, this team's got to blow up, fire the coach, fire the GM, trade Price, let's get a new team, tank for Lafreniere, yeah, last place in the league, baby. That's the whole overreaction that happens with a ton of Canadian markets. Trust me, I'm a primary Canucks fan, so I know exactly how this goes down. However, I will say that over my past year or two, covering the Montreal Canadiens and talking about Canadiens-related topics and building a Canadiens fan base, I've come to realize that Canadiens fans are probably a little bit more crazy than Vancouver Canucks fans. And that's a big compliment because Canucks fans are hard to beat. But the bottom line here is Carey Price is not going to be traded. You can mark my words here. You don't even need to mark the GM's words. And hey, he's said many things about not trading players in the past and then he's gone ahead and done it. Pacioretty, yeah, that happened. Subban, yeah, that happened. I don't even think he needs to say anything about Price. The fact is, you can't move that contract, and even if you were able to, there's no guarantee that Price would want to move it, unless he becomes absolutely terrible and injuries slow him down or whatever. Knock on wood, that's not gonna happen, right? Rick DiPietro, nah, that story's never gonna happen again. But Carey Price is still Carey Price, and I think he's still gonna be great. Now that basically concludes my overall talk on Price, and I think it kind of has to be a little bit of a sign here that things could be better, because it is November 30th right now. It is almost December. We are almost past November. Wake me up when November ends, take me back to November. But I think that things are gonna get better, right? Once Drouin comes back, which is not gonna be until 2020, things are gonna get way better, but you can't have a hockey team that's this skilled on paper, and that should be much better than they really are, be this poor for this long. November was a bad month for the Canadiens and for Price, but I'd be a fool if I said that that's going to be a huge indication as to how the team is going to be playing for the next 4 or 5 months. Good teams get better, and this is a team that barely missed out on the playoffs last year, and may not make it again this year, but honestly, they're not going to be far out. Please, stop overreacting. The Habs are not doomed eternally. Something is going to change. Now, whether or not I'm the one who tells you what's going to change, hey, that's not my problem. I'm not the coach, but I'm just somebody who's sitting here and trying to apply these hockey teams and trying to take a look at what's happening and trying to relate them to things that I've seen in the past. And this is something that we have seen in the past. Carey Price, .886 save percentage in November in 2018, and then he bounced back and became really, really good. And that's kind of Carey Price's job, right? He's the best paid goalie in the league for a reason, and a few bad games in the month of November shouldn't be enough to make the Canadiens management say, hey, you're out. If anything, other things are going to have to come first. Other players are going to have to be on the move. You could say what you want about the coach Claude Julien, but Carey Price is probably one of the more secure players in this team. I kind of have a feeling about that. Hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.